What's going on, everybody? What's going on? I forgot to take out the damn thumbnail, as I always do. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome.
Wait, what's up with your lighting?
Bro, I got the new webcam, bro. This isn't the freaking so I looked at it real quick before we do the intro. Real quick, I looked at the thing you told me about, and I think I typed in what you said, the Elgato cam, and this was the one that popped up. I guess it wasn't the Elgato cam, but it's still a good cam, has 4K capabilities, and it was still cheaper.
Do you have the box on you?
Yeah, it's called.
Let me see the box.
It's called OBS Bot.
That is not the Elgato cam. You're right.
I know it's not. It's not at all. But that when I typed it in, that's what popped up. But this one is pretty good. It's pretty damn good, and the Elgato one was still like 170 or something like that. So I think I got an all right deal because the one I got.
I think you should return it. To be honest.
Really?
Yeah. You got it off Amazon, right? So you have like 30 days to return anyway.
Oh yeah.
Because if you get it back in Amazon credit, just get the actual Elgato. Unless you want to use OBS filters to work with this, which I could teach you after the stream. I could teach you a couple OBS filters to work with this. Up to you.
Bet.
And if you like the way it looks after the OBS filters, then keep it.
Bet. Okay. All
right.
What
I use on mine, you know that I wasn't necessarily happy with my purchase of this one, but I got it from GameStop, so I couldn't I should have got it off of Amazon. That way I could return it, no question. But because I got it off of GameStop, I was like, I'm stuck with it. But I use a lot of OBS filters on it so that it looks somewhat good,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know that you could do like filters on OBS to make it look better. But okay.
Yeah.
Is that virtual cam that is popping up for me?
Yep. Virtual cam,
yep. Okay.
So if I real quick, if I were to click stop virtual cam, like that's what you see. Yeah. Let me see. If I start it, it comes back up automatically. It should. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know what is. I guess it's windy over here. I just heard a loud wind sound. Dang,
shout out to everybody in the stream.
What's up, everybody in the stream? Jonathan Studios in the building. Rob Pred, 1000 Club Landlord. All right.
Are you on the
Eagle Speed? Eagle Speed. That RID got suspended too.
What mic are you on, by the way, right now?
Am I not on my mic?
Because I'm hearing more clicks than usual, so I'm wondering if you're accidentally on the webcam mic. Like, I usually don't hear your mouse clicks.
Hello. Oh, it's actually on my freaking the camera one.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's on the webcam mic.
Let's change that. Okay, here.
Oh, that's way better.
Okay,
that's way better. And I was like, I'm hearing clicks. I'm hearing keyboards. I don't hear that usually.
Oh, I guess when I get a new device on here.
Yeah, when you get a new device, sometimes it does that. Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. But what's up, Eagle Speed? Dude, Eagle Speed is just always getting himself banned, bro. Always getting himself banned. And Logan in the building, huh?
What'd he do?
He's Eagle Speed.
But you said always. What'd he do in the past?
Well, he was a TTC guy, so people report him and things like that, and because they get butt hurt and stuff like that. But he says a lot of things that people don't want. People are scared to hear. But that being said, guys, welcome into another edition of the Young Guns podcast. We got a lot to get into, man. We had a lot of information that was given to us from Joe Schoen. We have obviously the results of the trade deadline. We obviously need to get into the Giants falling to 6-2 from the Seattle Seahawks. And then we'll get into like our bye week thoughts as well. But anything you want to say before we get into the first topic?
Shout out to everybody in the chat, in the stream as well. As you're popping in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button if you're new. Most importantly, hit the share button. Mustafa with a really good question. I don't think we had something prepared for it because this was kind of recent news. Definitely, I feel like we could talk about that a little before we actually get into the main topics.
Yeah,
highlight that.
Actually, let's talk about that right now real quick before we get into the other stuff.
Isaiah Hodgins.
He seems like an interesting guy.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, picked him up off the Buffalo Bills practice squad wide receiver position. Before you actually look into him quite a bit, the first thing you should know about him is that Bills fans were angry we picked him up. So that's always a good sign. When a team fan base is angry you picked up somebody off their practice squad, it usually means that maybe they shouldn't be on the practice squad.
Yeah, I like the kid. His size looks great for the wide receiver position. I think he's 6'4", 2-something, but he's a bigger guy, something that we need. And let's see what happens. He could make those catches, those 50-50 ball catches. I've seen him make a couple of like fade route catches in like short highlight reels I've seen of him. But interesting guy. Very, very interesting guy.
He looks like he has a little bit of speed to him as well. Like he's a good size, but guys, size doesn't always equal being a physical receiver. It just means that he has good size to him. Right.
We've seen like Benjamin Victor. Remember his?
To be fair, Benjamin Victor was big, but he was skinny. He was built like a skeleton. I think he was he was crazy tall. He was like 6'5", but he was only like 180.
Yeah, he was.
So he had like no muscle on him.
Yeah,
he was very like. I was actually worried that man might break at the NFL level because I'm like, that's just bones. At 6'5",
I think he's still on the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. I think so. Abrar says he's about to listen while he's playing. Tell me how that COD is, man. A lot of people are saying that they're liking it. I don't know.
Yeah, my friend's been trying to get me to hop on it for the past week, but I haven't hopped on like any game in like a year.
I know. I haven't touched my Xbox in a while.
Yeah, it's neither have I, man.
Yeah.
Half of it is like being busy. The other half is just like I just don't feel like it.
Facts. I feel you on that. Rob Preston, OBJ. We'll get into that kind of stuff later on. Also says, can't believe they couldn't get Elijah Moore since he plays out of the same stadium and whatnot. The Jets must have been asking for far. No, the Jets are not planning to trade Elijah Moore. He was actually off the table.
That's crazy when you think about it. Yeah, he clearly wants out, but they clearly don't want to trade him.
That's honestly insane. And a lot of teams do that throughout the years. You see teams keep players that don't want to be there.
That's why. Last night on Just Chillin', somebody came in and they suggested Brandon Cooks could be released because he doesn't want in. I'm like, he could, but the team could also keep him. Like they keep players that don't want to be there for some reason. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's been really good. I haven't enjoyed COD like this okay. That's a good sign. I heard the campaign is the best it's been in years, and I love campaigns. Like I love story modes. So and of course bringing back Captain Price and Ghost. I think Gaz is back in it.
Did they get back like the same voice actors and stuff?
Which I was just about to say that because Ghost and Gaz has the same voice actor, right? So that's interesting.
Those got to be really good voice actors to be able to do the same thing after years and years.
Yeah, I love those characters. But all right, so without further ado, guys, let's get into the first topic. It's a sad one, but let's get into it.
Seattle out of sorts, and now they're back in the driver's seat.
Ooh, Walker able to reverse his field. Walker inside the 10, barreling over tacklers. Walker dances his way for the touchdown.
He hit the thriller.
He hit the thriller. The New York Giants fall 6-2 to the Seattle.
Yeah, look at you trying to be taller.
I'm just trying to keep my head above the thing because
Can't
I gotta
you
make
tilt the
this
camera
thing,
down a little bit?
I could, but I gotta just make this thing. I gotta just make that thing smaller.
I think it's a good size, personally.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You see? It looks fine now. You tilted it down.
We're all right now. We're all right. All right. So the Giants lose to the Seattle Seahawks 27-13. And man, let me just say, man, I got killed on Twitter, by the way. I got absolutely murdered on Twitter. We'll get into that later on a later topic. But your thoughts on the Giants' performance at Seattle?
First things first, let's get the elephant out the room. All right. Richie James. This game was tied 13-13 going in the fourth quarter, and looks like the Giants were probably going to pull out another win. Seattle went up 20-13, but guess what? Like we did in every single game that we won, the defense got us to stop. All we had to do was go down and drive on the drive and score a touchdown. Then Mr. Richie James, for the second time that game on the punt return, fumbled the ball and gives it right back to Seattle within the end zone, basically. He fumbles the ball, I think it was around the 30 or 20-yard line, right by the end zone. So it's like Seattle just walked in for the score, no question, and all of a sudden it's 27-13 and game's over. With the time that was left on the clock, you're not coming back from a two-possession game. If Richie James just learned how to hold on to the football, not only does Seattle have 10 less points because that fumble cost them 7, and the fumble earlier on in the game in the first half gave them 3 points. So it would have been basically like a 17-13 game kind of. Then we definitely could have been able to drive down and score. That man needs to be cut, man. Now, he's not the only reason we lost the game, but he's certainly the main reason we lost the game. It really looked like it was going to be one of the other, the 6th comeback win of the year. Because except for the Chicago game, all of our wins have been comeback wins. The defense showing up late, the defense stopping the other team, and then the offense capitalizing. The defense did a job. It was not very good on Sunday, but it did its job in the fourth quarter. Stop Seattle, stop Geno, stop Kenneth Walker, got them on a 3-and-out. All we had to do was drive down and score, and Richie James gave them the ball back. And then the man has the audacity to go and get a concussion and leave the game too. So
how I mean, of course they can't. They're not there is a legit this is worse than the freaking Ian, bro. Right now. Jesus, it's crazy out there.
Good thing you're not on your webcam, Mike. I'm sure I would have heard it.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you guys don't hear it now. You guys don't hear nothing?
Nah.
Jesus, the freaking wind is trying to break through my window. But well, when it comes to the Seattle game, man, of course Richie James is a big part of that loss. But
I need you to rant on him a little bit. He wears number 80. Think about that for a second.
He wears number 80.
He wears number 80.
Yeah.
Why do we allow a man that fumbles to wear number 80? He's sullying Victor Cruz's number.
And let me tell you, this is a cuttable offense, but they won't do it because of our lack of depth on the receiving
You know what's
core.
crazy? It's a cuttable offense, not because he lost us the game. If he didn't have that second fumble, he should have been cut. The first fumble alone is something you cut a punt returner for.
You could.
And that was the second fumble on the year. So now he has 3 or 4 fumbles on the year.
I think he has 3. I think he has 3 fumbles. I think he has 1 muff punt and 2 fumbles, which are in this game. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely. And first of all, this is on the coaching staff too for not pulling him. He shouldn't have been.
That's the thing I was wondering. I'm like, after he fumbled once in the first half, why was he out there at punt return? You know what's funny, bro? As the ball was kicking and I saw 80 back there, literally in my head, I was praying. I'm like, yo, bro, please don't fumble. I have no faith in this guy. I have a feeling something bad's going to happen. And the question that popped in is, wait a minute, why don't we have anybody else out there to get the ball? And then he catches it. I'm like, maybe we're safe. But then he starts running, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why don't you just catch the ball and sit down? Because you fumbled once earlier.
Fair catch it, bro.
Nobody has faith in you. Catch the ball and sit down.
I don't know if this was the first fumble or the second one, but he had caught it uncleanly where he caught it, but bobbled, and he caught it again, and I thought he fumbled it. I said, no! And I was like, okay, he caught it, no problem. Then he gets hit, and it comes out. I'm like, damn it, I knew it. Dude, I always get scared with punt returns, man. I always get scared with those. It's so easy for you to fumble a ball or like muff a punt. It's so easy for you to do that, and they showed it on Sunday. And the thing is, what does Richie James really provide in the punt return game that they didn't pull him and put another punt returner in after his first fumble?
I have no idea.
I get we don't have any like really talented punt returners, standout punt returners on the roster, but it's not like Richie James does anything.
Bro, just get somebody that's gonna fair catch it, man. Honestly,
exactly.
Unless you got Devin Hester back there, I don't want to see you try and return the ball. If I'm keeping real with you,
like if Adoree wasn't so much of a intricate like piece in our defense
secondary, yeah,
in our secondary, he would be punt returner. He's an amazing punt returner from what we've seen in college.
I don't know why we don't have one of the safeties out there. In previous years, it was always Julius I said Julius Peppers.
Jabril Peppers. I say the same thing.
It was always Jabril Peppers that was the punt returner. So I'm like, put Dane Belton back there, bro.
But the thing is, Jabril would do it because he was a punt returner in college. Like that's how he really got his notoriety from. But this Seattle Seahawks game, to me, man, I think it really exposed the problems that we have on this team that weren't previously brought to light because we won the games. Like, if you really think about it, I know we got blown out, and this is our first blowout of a game because of those Richie James mistakes. But if you really think about it, take out the score, the Giants really put out the same product they've been putting out all year. They just resulted in wins. Now this time it resulted in a loss and a big loss.
It's just that I would say it's this time. Obviously, the obvious thing is it resulted in a loss. But the second thing is that we got outcoached, I would say, for like the first game here. Against Dallas, we just got out-talented, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I would say the Dallas game was a good game. It was just a game of who's a better team. And I feel like the Cowboys are a better team than us.
And with this one is just fair. We got outcoached because I said it in my reaction video. I said it while we were calling the game, and I said it last night on the podcast. So people are probably tired of hearing me saying it. But the thing that I kept complaining about throughout the first 7 weeks, even though we had a 6-1 record, was Mike Kafka and how angry his play calling makes me and how inconsistent of a play caller he is.
Yeah, we have to start talking about that.
The first half and the second half. I never had to focus on it much. I always mentioned
we were winning. That's why.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We were winning, so there was no need for me to mention it, but I did always at least say Mike Kafka. Yeah, bro, during the streams, I'm like, here goes Mike Kafka again. He's going to make me angry. And I mentioned it during the reaction video. Guess what? Mike Kafka is one of the biggest reasons we lost this game because his first half play calling is atrocious. And I don't know why he can't just take his second half play calling and do it in both halves. Why he can't just run the ball more. If you want to save Saquon Barkley for the second half, if that's your big plan, sure, save Saquon Barkley. Then use Matt Breida in the running game. We have a very competent backup running back.
You know what's crazy, Coach? I don't even think it's the plays he's calling is bad. It's the time he's calling them because his script or scheme in the first half should be put in the second half.
That's bad play calling.
No, I agree with you.
You could have a good playbook. No, what I'm saying is, though, I feel like your statement is semantically wrong. Like, you could have a good playbook, but if you're not calling the plays at the right time, that's bad play. That's bad play calling.
But here's the thing. So, in the sequence that he's calling his plays, I have no problem with. It's just you're putting those type of sequences you should be putting in the second half. Those type of risky plays, those type of air it out plays where you try something cute, or should be put in the second half, not the first half. What he's doing in the second half should be put in the first half where he's actually running the ball. Like we saw in the beginning of the third quarter, they started to run the ball a lot more, and we've seen that for the past few weeks now. You've seen, especially in that Jacksonville game, Saquon had how many carries did he have? 8 carries for 20 yards or something like that. And then coming out into the second half, and then boom, he explodes for 100 yards because they actually start dedicating to running the ball in the second half. And granted, I know the defense that Jacksonville had was probably getting worn out throughout the game. That's fine, but he put all that running stuff when you get to the fourth quarter, right? And we've seen this. We were down. The thing is, KB, is that you should never have 8 carries as a team at the half.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to save Saquon and use him the same way we use him, fine. But you have a backup running back that's very capable of running football. How about you give him 8 carries? That way we have 16 carries at the half. Yeah. That's fine. That's perfect almost. But here's the thing. Especially in this game, we did not run the ball. In Jacksonville, I understood why we didn't run the ball because Jacksonville had a strength in defending the run. but they had a weakness against the pass. So that first drive that we scored a touchdown for the first time in 14 games in an opening drive, I was okay with. I'm a big run the ball guy, but hey, if their weakness is the passing game, I'm going to pass it everywhere, to try to get to the end zone. I thought they were just taking advantage of the Jacksonville's pass defense. Now they do the same thing in this game, even though this defense in particular, their weakness is the run game, and the Giants still come out like they're playing Jacksonville, but they're not. They're playing Seattle. And it really, really did us a disservice because we went 3 straight 3-and-outs. All the momentum, we had no established momentum going into the second quarter, especially going into the second half. And then we're down a touchdown in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left to go, and we're running the ball more. Why? That doesn't make any sense. You're doing everything ass backwards. You're supposed to run the ball, get that defense tired, and play action, air it out. That is the fundamental way of winning football. I know it's, the running game has been taken out the past couple of years, but it's coming back. There's a reason why the running game will never go away, because that is literally the way to win football game. That's how football was invented, for you to run the ball, and then pass it. That's how you wear down a defense. And the Giants are just doing things backwards.
Bro, we're just mentioning like passing and running.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even talk about the fact that our 2-minute drives are terrible. And this isn't
bad.
This is on Kafka, but it's also on Dable. Dable, if you want to be aggressive, stop being conservative when we have the ball with 1:30 and 2 minutes. And this isn't the first time this season a similar situation has popped up where there's
clock management.
Where there's like timeouts left, there's over a minute left, and we could potentially go down and score. And all they do is they run a couple plays and let the clock drain out and go to half. I never understand that. What up, Marjorie?
What's up, Marjorie? Marge Bomb in the building. I feel like they have no intention of actually going down the field in those 2-minute drills that you're talking about. It doesn't seem like they have it.
It's clear, bro.
It feels like they're trying to run those conservative plays. It feels like they're trying to run those conservative plays, and then whatever happens, happens. If something crazy happens where a guy is able to break a tackle, then so be it. But it feels like they're very content of going into that second half, not moving down the field in that 2-minute drive. So I completely agree with you there. It looks a lot like Joe Judge and Jason Garrett in those 2-minute drives. Mm-hmm.
People are gonna take that out of context, bro. People are gonna take that so out of context.
I know. Said. You're saying Brian Dable is Joe Judge. You know how it is. Daniel Jones did overthrow one pass, which could have been an easy first down. We can get to each individual pass that Daniel Jones threw, or each individual run that Saquon Barkley ran, or each individual route that the wide receivers ran. It doesn't matter. We were just outmatched in this game. And honestly, we're going to get into a topic later on today, later on. But like I said, the Giants did not put out a different product than what we're used to seeing. It's just that we lost the game, and we lost bad. We had 3 sacks in the game. We were still bending but not breaking on defense. Offensively, we still weren't able to move the ball in the passing game. Granted, this is the first time we were really shut down with the run the whole entire game. That's something that is different than we've seen in weeks past. But I don't like that this New York Giants team puts themselves in position where we are winning games, but we have to literally make no mistakes when we win these games, because any which mistake, like a Richie James fumble, could just like that make you lose the game. And you go from a really good team to now people are asking questions. And the Giants need to figure out to find a way to win games, and find a way to win games comfortably, to not really excuse any of the mistakes you make. But if you do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Because if the Giants, if in each game for the rest of the season, the Giants make 1 or 2 mistakes that are technically bad, and you lose the game because of that, we can have a really bad season the rest of the season. It's like you have to find a way to consistently, compete with your opponent and find a way to win games, convincingly.
Mods, please take care of that real quick.
Yeah, please take care of that. But I was talking about this, and we say that this it's a good thing. And you know what? It is a good thing. When Daniel Jones has, through 6 victories, has 5 game-winning drives, that is something to take note of, right? But the thing is, you have to really look into that and saying, why on earth, through 6 wins of the season, the only 6 wins we have through 8 weeks, Why on earth is Daniel Jones having to win the game 5 out of the 6 times in the last minute of the game? Why? Why is that a thing? It's not sustainable to out here to come from behind and win a game in the fourth quarter or in that last drive every single game. And you can't expect to win 20-17 every single week. It's just not going to happen. The average amount of points scored in an NFL game is not going to be 17 points. Okay, you're not going to hold your opponent to that every single time. You have to be like one of the best defense in the league, if not the best defense in the league, to really afford to give up that many that little amount of points. Like Buffalo right now is technically the best defense in the league because of the points per game they're allowing, like 13.5 points a game. That's insane. But they still lost like twice, right? And I think they were over the scores of 17. So it's those things. It's those things. We can't expect to win every game.
Yeah, we can't expect to win every
20-17.
game. What was I gonna say? I don't think that the world is over. The world is not.
Yeah, it's
falling.
not. It's definitely not.
Like I said that. I think I said that several times in my reaction video too. I'm like, this was going to happen at some point. We just need to learn from it. And the fact is, if we played like we played in the first half of the season, we're still going to be a double-digit win team. We're still going to be a playoff team because we've already won enough games to be that. But if we could,
what
fix
happens
these,
after?
Yeah, I was going to say, if we could fix some of these mistakes in terms of what I feel, a lot of it could be fixed with some better offensive play calling and defensive play calling for that matter as well. It's just like I'm not getting into Wink too much, and he had a bad game on Sunday as well. But like I said, he came up and the defense came up when they needed to. It's just special teams couldn't capitalize. If we could just fix those special teams mistakes and fix the play calling a little bit on offense, will be the same thing as I said just now. If we don't, which is a double-digit win, a double-digit team, playoff team, but maybe we actually have a chance of doing something in the playoffs. Either way, it's crazy because I say all this and then I think of the big picture. I'm like, either way, I'm happy. I really, part of me almost wants to say I don't care what happens because we're gonna be good. We're going to be picking in the 20s, which I'm fine with. I've been waiting for so long. We still could get a legit wide receiver in this draft class. We still could get a linebacker in the draft class. We still could trade up if we need a quarterback because we got 11 picks. Like, we are in a really good situation, and I feel like Giants fans don't think about that enough.
Yeah, and we have to start thinking about next season because we talked about how
I
this
disagree
season.
with that.
No, I'm not talking about draft and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that.
I don't necessarily agree with thinking about next season.
No.
Because we're still in this season.
Yeah, but here's what listen to what I'm saying. Okay, let me finish.
I'm gonna listen to what you're saying, but your statement was we should start thinking about next season.
No, not like forget about this season and move on to next season. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying just keep in mind. The coaching staff needs to keep in mind that they have a tough task next season to try to fix the way we are winning games right now. And they have to start working on that this year as well. Because like I said before, if they try to keep winning games in the fourth quarter with comeback victories all the time, you're gonna screw yourself. At the end of the day, you can't. That is not sustainable. It's not sustainable throughout a season, and I don't think you're gonna be doing it next year. You look at the 2016 New York Giants. Although I love that season because it was a big season for me because it was the first time we actually had a good season since 2012, and the next season after that, everyone had the expectation that this New York Giants team was going to be good, and we were literally one of the worst teams in the league the next year. Okay, so because the Giants did not find a way to adjust the way they were winning games, because we talk about the similarities to the 2016 team all the time. It is very similar. Not the coaching. The coaching is elite on this team. The coaching wasn't elite on the other team, except Steve Spagnuolo's defense, but the way we were winning games, the way we scored 16 points a game in total. I think that was our final PPG in 2016, like 16.4. That's horrendous. But we still went 11-5 because of that defense. Like our offense was absolutely terrible. They did nothing. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't pass the ball. Our defense literally won us all those games. Same thing that we're really doing right now. Of course, DJ has his moments. Saquon goes off, but the defense is really, really carrying us through this entire way here. And the New York Giants just didn't fix the way they win games the next season. Teams caught on to it, and we wound up getting blown out in every single game with no offense. We had no offense in 2017 because we tried to rely on our defense, and then our defense started losing on purpose, and that's how we got Ben McAdoo fired. But we don't want that to happen next season. We don't want to have a miraculous season, a Jacksonville Jaguars season, right? 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars went 11-5 with Blake Bortles. We thought that this Jacksonville team they rebuilt in one. We thought they rebuilt in 1 year and they were ready to go. Nope. 2018 came around and they sucked again. So we don't want to be the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars. So we have to find a way to win games and change the way we win games. Of course, it's good now. We have 6 wins already, which is great, right? We have that. We're in that comfortable position where we could try to find a way to win games, not by the fourth quarter all the time. But yeah, like I said, we got
Marjorie's comment I wanted to address too before we move on to the next one, which is the bye week came at a great time, and she's so right. Even if I have a feeling that even if we played a less mistake-filled game, or even potentially a mistake-free game, we might have still lost, because think about the traveling that the Giants have done over the past 3-4 weeks. You go from MetLife over to London, then from London back to MetLife, then from Baltimore down to Jacksonville, from Jacksonville to Seattle. That's a lot of traveling in that 5-week span, 4 to 5 week span.
Yeah.
The team was getting more and more tired because we have, not necessarily a later bye week, but we have a midseason bye week, which is perfect. But the team's getting more and more tired, and the team was also getting more and more injured. The bye week came at a perfect time for both rest and for injuries, and hopefully we could get a couple guys back afterwards.
We should be getting guys back. I'm hoping Kenny Golladay comes back. Of course, there's not much to expect, but I just want wide receiver guys out there. I just want our wide receivers out there, no matter who they are. Yeah, we'll get into the bye week stuff as well, like bye week progress report and stuff like that. Why aren't they bringing in Bachman? Who knows? We don't really know too much about that. Just do not I guarantee you Richie James will not touch a punt return again. I guarantee you. I can guarantee you that. I'm wondering if the new guy can return. I wouldn't think so. Isaiah Hodgins is a 6'4" receiver, not that fast, not that agile, but big-bodied receiver. Pimpleton Khalil Pimpleton is a interesting guy, but the thing is, he has the case of the dropsies. If you guys watch Hard Knocks, he does not catch the ball consistently. He's a smaller guy, very, very small. So I wouldn't put more trust in Pimpleton than a Richie James. If we lose one more more in division, going to be rough to make the playoffs. We've only played one game in division. I think we're going to be okay, because I don't envision the Commanders. If they do match our record, I don't envision them having a better in division record than us. I mean, that's unless they sweep us, and they lose to Dallas and the Eagles. I really don't think they're going to beat Dallas or the Eagles. So I'm not really concerned too much about the in division record, because we can still make the playoffs as the third team in the NFC East. Plus the injuries were catching up to us. Shane said X-Men may be ready against Houston. Yeah, I hope so. I hope X-Men, because it's crazy to say, right, that we want O'Shane back. We want O'Shane back. We want Aziz back too, but he's going to take a little longer. He has 3 more games to go through for IR.
Let's get to the next topic, though.
But yeah,
my bad. I didn't want to interrupt completely.
No, you good. You good. Let's get into the next one.
Several meetings with my staff on, where we saw some players that were available and what value we saw them at and what made sense in the short term and long term. And if that doesn't marry up, then, you don't want to shop hungry. And, I thought we took a good approach to this time of year, and, it just made sense. I'm ecstatic. We're 6-2, and, I don't know if one player at any one position is gonna change things exponentially, but.
All right, so the New York Giants elect not to make a trade. Twitter, more specifically, did not like this. It was very two-sided. I mean, you had one side that was very okay with the Giants not trading. You had another side that I guess felt impatient, I don't want to mischaracterize them, but they really just feel like they want to go now. We're going to talk about all this right now. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to generalize it either, but really the conclusion I'm coming to is that they really genuinely think that this team is a wide receiver away from winning a Super Bowl.
And you know what's funny? Shane said that we're not like a team. One player isn't gonna fix everything.
There's that. Plus,
there's the
additional fact.
I'll let you finish.
There's the additional fact of the fact. I know you. There's the additional fact that there was no Stephon Diggs type wide receiver out here.
Right. Dude, this is what I wanted to say.
They thought we were a Jerry Jeudy 53% catch rate away from making a Super Bowl run, bro. You got to be kidding me. I know everybody wants DJ Moore is actually a really good option as well, but DJ Moore was not available. And in fact, he probably would have been too much for the Giants to really give up. Because remember, at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are saying, dude, we're 6-2. We're not rebuilding. Yes, we are. Unfortunately, for your case, we are winning. Okay, so we're winning does not mean that we're in win now. And a lot of people said this. I think I don't want to say it was somebody else that is not true. I think it was authentic. He mentioned that the Minnesota Vikings are also 6-1 and they made trades. This is a different 6-1, a different 6-2, because the Minnesota Vikings have been win now ready for a couple of years now. They just need a couple of pieces to take them off the edge. The Giants are not in that position. Just because we are 6-2 and we have the same amount of wins as this team, as the Minnesota Vikings, doesn't mean we're in the same position as this team, because they are a lot more sustainable as far as their roster goes than the New York Giants.
I just want to highlight two comments because Rob Pred kind of just proved my point. The first comment, he says we may be a wide receiver away if Kenny Golladay comes back at the top of his game. But the very next comment, he says maybe add a cornerback too. Not only that, maybe add some legit starting linebackers. And the most important thing of all, add depth across the entire team, not just the defense, the offense as well. You guys don't realize how thin this team is right now. And a lot of it is injuries, yes. But even before we had injuries, our depth wasn't the best.
Our second round pick is valuable, okay? And for a Jerry Jeudy situation where a lot of people are very caught up with the highlights, to me, that's what it is. A lot of people are you think Denver Broncos fans are all up in arms about Jerry Jeudy the way Giants fans are? No. They don't care that he's on the team right now.
There was only one wide receiver that got traded yesterday. No wide receivers got moved if you think about it.
Like, he's just a wide receiver on the Denver Broncos. He is not a star. He has star qualities, right? He has elite speed. He's elite separation. He's a very good route runner. But you think Denver Broncos fans are really talking about Jerry Jeudy the way Giants fans are? Like, no, that's just not the case. They're very frustrated with him the same way we were frustrated with like an Evan Ingram or a Darius Slayton. Okay, he's not going to fix our issues. In fact, he may just add to them. He may just add to the same problems that we already have. And
you guys know me. I do not hate Jerry Jeudy in the fashion that KB does.
I don't hate him.
Stop it, bro. Like this man killed your dog or something, bro. Right?
You know why? Know why I John Wick this guy? You know why? Because everybody, it makes me
He's done nothing to you.
It makes me more infuriated that people are that hyped about Jerry Jeudy.
Get that hate out your heart, bro.
I don't have hate.
Good for you.
It's
not
just
good
like,
for you, bro.
The more people talk about Jerry Jeudy,
like he's the energy,
second coming of Randy Moss, the more I'm just like, bro,
listen. I was gonna say something, but even I'm not a hater like KB is when it comes to Jerry Jeudy. If we got him, I would have held out hope that we had an Amari Cooper type situation where he changed, but I wasn't feeding for him. I wasn't feeding for this guy, and there's dudes on Giants Twitter right now. I literally just saw a tweet that I sent to one of the guys that I talk a lot with on Twitter. That basically this dude thinks that Jerry Jeudy was like the second coming of Jerry Rice because there's Giants fans saying,
"I'm telling you, dude.
I hope the picks that we didn't trade for him turn into like Luke Kuechly and other people." And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what are we saying right now?
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, they really think like Giants fans are legit mad, especially on Twitter, that Joe Schoen didn't make a move. Oh, this was an L move from Joe Schoen, not me. Are you kidding me? Okay, let's put this in perspective. Hold on,
guess what though, bro?
Okay.
I was just gonna say, that's why I really been hopping off Twitter more and more. Like, obviously, there's other reasons, but it's like, if you go on, like, Giants YouTube, for example, not us, the comment section of the actual Giants channel and where Joe Schoen has been making media appearances, fans are happy. It's literally just, like, Twitter isn't a real place, bro. It's just Twitter.
So happy that what Joe Schoen said in that intro clip, that the Giants didn't shop hungry. The same thing that, like, maybe a David Gettleman did. Jerry Reese definitely shopped hungry. Jerry Reese just threw money away and did a lot of stupid things, and also neglected other positions that should have been addressed, like linebacker and offensive line. You know, Joe Schoen is doing this right. He's doing it logically. He's not doing it emotionally. He's not emotionally throwing these picks away and saying, man, we're 6-2. I guess let's just do something to try to boost it, boost our
You know what's good.
our
Even though
team.
I think even if we did win against Seattle, they wouldn't have traded anyway. But that Seattle game was a nice wake up call. For fans, and maybe it just helped them solidify their position, not trading for anything out of, because it showed how much deficiencies there truly are on this team. And shout out to Stan. Yeah, he says, I'm gonna say it flat out, Kush. And Kush knows the insecurities and pushback also came from the fact that there are DJ fans and not Giants fans for a certain portion of the fan base as well. I never thought I'd be saying this when we drafted this kid years and years ago. But yeah, there's legit fans.
There's a freaking
You know what's funny?
cult.
It's almost the same fan portion of the fan base that used to accuse people of being Odell fans and not Giants fans. It's almost the same overlap that
think
are
you're
now
right.
DJ fans and not Giants fans.
I think you're right.
It's like the same. It's so funny. Years and years ago, they were
Yo.
criticizing. It was mostly us younger fans, like, "Oh, you're not a fan of the team. You're a fan of the player Odell." And now all of a sudden, they're a fan of the player Daniel Jones being, and not necessarily a fan of the team. Look at the bigger picture for the team.
I think you're right, bro, because I was you guys know my Odell reaction. And then everybody's like, yo, I can't believe you don't think this is the best interest of the New York Giants. You got to think about the team, stop thinking about the player. I'm like, I'm sorry, but Odell is one of my favorite players. And now I feel like those same people are the one championing DJ. And it's like, I like DJ. I think we all like DJ, right? But
nobody in their right mind is rooting for this kid to fail, except for a couple people on Twitter.
I definitely know that there's people rooting for this guy to fail. But it's just crazy. And I wanted to bring a scenario up, right? Say we give that 2nd and 4th for Jerry Jeudy, and we do that, and we put ourselves in a bad position in the draft, because not like we have a grand amount of picks in the draft anyway for a rebuilding team. We don't really have that much. We have like a normal amount right now. But you getting rid of a 2nd round pick, which is big, and a 4th round pick, which is also big. You can get some good talent there.
I can I just say real quick? I just hope that if we don't get a wide receiver in the 1st, the wide receiver we're getting the 2nd. And there's no disrespect to the player, is better than Wan'Dale Robinson. I like you, Wan'Dale, I do, but I want somebody better than Wan'Dale Robinson.
Let's be real though, Wan'Dale wasn't even a 2nd round value, but
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. So, but say we did do that, right? We did give up a 2nd and 4th for Jerry Jeudy, and we come up short. We go one and done in the playoffs, and our offense looks relatively the same than what it did before. What are those fans then gonna say? What are they gonna say? Well, at least we tried. Yeah, at least we tried, and we don't have a 2nd and 4th going into this next draft that we need. We desperately need that. Well, we're gonna trade another player or trade more pieces to get more draft capital because we screwed up, and now we have Jerry Jeudy on for one more season, and we eventually either have to pay this man or get rid of him, or take his 5th-year option. Like, it's like, well, you guys always dig yourself a hole.
Here's the thing. We need shifting off of Jerry Jeudy, but staying with the topic of trade in general. Shout out to Marjorie, says, I agree with that. That loss might be a blessing in disguise.
That was just an example. Jerry Jeudy is just an example. But yeah.
The reason I want to shift off of it, because it's like, it's an example that's been beaten to death, especially by you, low key. But shifting off of with other positions as well. Like Shane was like, they've been essentially on the market since August. He kind of implied, with not just receivers, but with a lot of positions in general, which once again, if he's saying it, he's letting you know that this team is, I don't think it's far away, KB. I honestly think, and maybe this is just me being biased, I really do think if we can nail this draft class, and I do think we nailed the 2022 one, so if we could nail the 2023 draft class and sign some good veteran free agents, that this team would be a legit contender next year. That's not to say we're not a legit contender this year. Your record is what you are, but we're way safer. We're way more prepared. We're way more filled out on the roster chart. I don't think this team is completely far away. I don't.
Was it you? I can't remember. Was it you or Justin? Was it you or Justin that tweeted that? Or maybe I'm wrong about both. But you or Justin tweeted saying, you can either trade draft capital to try to get one player, or you can go in the draft and get a whole draft class of players and fix your team that way. It's like you can either try to win with one player or you can try to win with another draft class. Like, that's how I think of it. I'm not going into this saying, we're going to get Jerry Jeudy and then draft. I want to go into draft. I want to build my team through the draft, right? And I want to plug any holes when we're championship ready. I want to plug those holes using trades or using free agents like what the Rams do. But we're not at that point. We're not at that point at all. And I like that point that you said, is because we are definitely this close from being like a legit contender. I feel like because we're already winning games with coaching. Wait till we have a roster that correlates with our coaching very well, like a very good roster with our very good coaching that we already have.
I want to respond. I just
Mhm.
want to respond to Aaron and what you said real quick. I'm sorry because their comments have been there for a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
My first thing is, once again, who do you guys think Jerry Jeudy is? That's my first thing. But my second thing is, I love this. Always happens with New York-based teams, but I love with Giants fans. They saw that we didn't trade for a wide receiver, but around the league, only one wide receiver got traded. That was Chase Claypool. He went for a second-round pick, which is definitely way more than what he's worth. It is way more than what he's worth.
I would say
you guys got to remember,
really
we traded Kadarius Toney, a guy that has 0 catches, like 0 touchdowns, 0
for a third and a sixth.
For a third-round pick.
He has 0. I don't think people understand that.
Anybody that was remotely good was going to cost too much for this team that has multiple holes. And then to respond to now what you say, you may be right about that, but guess what? There's definitely a better wide receiver in the first round, and maybe that's the route we go.
Yeah.
There is 100% better wide receivers in college.
Who says we would use that second-round pick on a wide receiver? Who says we don't get one in the first round? There's a lot of wide receiver, exactly where we're like looking to be drafting at. There's a bunch of wide receivers that could be drafted around that range, like a Jordan Addison, for example. There are a bunch of guys we could possibly get in that range. And on top of that, you can get a wide receiver pretty much anywhere. Jerry Jeudy is not the be-all, end-all, like top tier of wide receivers out there. Where would you think Jerry Jeudy ranks in the like as far as receivers go in the NFL? Like, he's not even a number one on his team. Let's be real. Like, Courtland Sutton is the number one on the team. And Courtland Sutton is like a former second-round pick or something like that. And Jerry Jeudy was like the best, so supposedly the best receiver in his draft class. Now that I believe, who was in that 2020 draft class along with him? Was that Justin Jefferson was in there, no? Or am I wrong?
2020? Was Justin Jefferson in 2019, I think? I don't know.
Am I wrong about that? I always get those draft classes mixed up, bro. I always get them mixed up. But, you know, neither here nor there. Jerry Jeudy is like not the guy you really wanted to like build a team with. Like, guys, you guys are looking at like highlights of Jerry Jeudy. Yes, he has highlights, just like the same way Chase Claypool had highlights. But you think Chicago Bears fans are really excited that they got Chase Claypool for a second-round pick?
Yeah. Aaron Vaughn, you're not wrong. Those guys are proven players. The draft is a gamble. The draft is always a gamble. But
free agency is a gamble. Trades are a gamble. Look at Kenny Golladay.
I was gonna even use a different thing of logic here. Once again, clearly nobody else in the league valued Jerry Jeudy. Clearly nobody else in the league valued any of the receivers that were on the market
at that
price point. That's the thing you guys are missing. That price. If Chase Claypool went for a second-round pick, I'm guaranteeing you they were asking for a first-round pick for Jerry Jeudy.
Bro, you know what those people remind me of?
Jerry Jeudy is better than Chase Claypool. But also, not only that, Jerry Jeudy, and I've said this on this very same podcast, you know, I was like basically arguing with KB last week, saying that, he could have an Amari Cooper type resurgent with his career here, but that's also a gamble. If we want to talk about what's proven with Jeudy is that he's inconsistent.
You know what those type of people remind me of? That is like, oh, I don't care about the value. I was gonna bring like a car analogy, but let's simplify. It's like going to a fast food restaurant. You go to a fast food restaurant that you've never been before, and a lot of people talk about it, and it looks nice. The food smells great, and you go over there, and you're willing to pay what you're willing to pay a certain amount to get that burger, right? Let's just say a burger, right? And then they say, sir, the total is $20 for this burger. And you're like, damn, that's a lot. All right, here you go. You know, that the value of that burger was too damn high, but you said you're already in this position. Let me just pay for this $20 burger, even though it's not worth it. That is not how you approach an NFL franchise when it's talking about draft capital. You don't just say, hey, I'm in a position where there's an offer on the table for a wide receiver that I desperately need. Let me just throw this out there and let me just throw a second and fourth.
I want to shift away from this line of talking with not making moves as well, too. And really what we should be emphasizing is the fact that your general manager admits, your general manager knows, and people that really take a hard look at this team realize that we have holes on the offensive line. We have wide receivers a big need, yes. We have depth problems across the team once again, offensive and defensive side. we have holes in the secondary and we have holes at the linebacking core. Secondary is performing out their mind, but I don't expect it to keep up. And they did get exposed a little bit towards the end of that game when Tyler Lockett finally started to catch passes like Tyler Lockett usually catches passes. And don't even get me started on the defensive line depth. Like, there are other things to do. Like, could the Giants have made a move? Yeah, but if Chase, I'm going to say it again, bro. If Chase Claypool went for a second-round pick, Jerry Jeudy was going to cost a lot. He was going to cost a lot. I don't think he was going for a second because he's better than Chase Claypool, in my opinion. He is. But if Claypool's going for a second, I don't know if I'm willing to trade a first for Jerry Jeudy. The only wide receiver I was willing to trade a first for, and not even fans would agree with this. I don't even know if KB would agree with this. There was only one wide receiver I was willing to trade a first for, and it was DJ Moore. And that, I don't even think that was anywhere close to happening. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you guys, I realize there's other needs, and the season's not over. Like, that's the thing. We are talking about deficiency of the team right now, as we should. We need to recognize that as fans. But the season's not over. Like, we got to 6-2 without that number one legit wide receiver. Who knows where we can go? And yeah, maybe next year we don't get off to the hot 6-2 start. Maybe next year we struggle a little bit. It's like 4-4 or something like that. But I still think that if we could nail the draft class next year, we might be a better team than we are this year.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's all for the long-term success of the team. And we didn't necessarily have this with Gelman. We always had a little bit of questions with Gelman. And me and KB were big Gelman defenders, so it's not even like we're Gettleman haters.
Right.
But there was always questions with the long-term plans with Dave Gelman.
Marty said, I get that hamburger analogy. Yeah, man. It's just that people are just like, they feel like because they're already in that position, they're like, hey, let me get that. It doesn't matter what the price is. Let me get that. What's up, Nate? What's up, Nate? Why you cut? Nate gets facial hair. I think he could walk in here though, like anything.
And just say that,
yeah,
bro.
And just say that. You think because you got facial
like
hair?
Moses, bro.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's not time to shift off this topic, even though we spent a lot of time on it, because I feel like we could fit in here, because we didn't necessarily create a thing for this. We could fit in here the fact that Joe Schoen is making tons of media appearances. He, of course, did the official press conference on the Giants channel. He did an interview with Sean O'Hara. He appeared on the Tiki and Tierney podcast with a great 27-minute interview that I would recommend anybody listen to. And he appeared on another podcast that I don't even know the name of the dude. I think it's like Zach Gleb, Zach Gelb, and he really gave a little bit more information. For those of you guys know that the Giants did get a call on one particular player throughout the trade deadline. Another team calling the trade for him, and Joe Schoen said that it was a hard no. He kind of revealed offhandedly that player wasn't in Saquon like a lot of people expected, but it was Dexter Lawrence. And I'm glad it was a hard no.
That's crazy.
And he, like the Zach Gleb guy, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name, followed it up. Apparently, he was on Peter Schrager as well. I didn't even get to see that interview.
Oh, Good Morning Football?
Peter Schrager's, no, Peter Schrager's podcast, not Good Morning Football, like his own
everybody
podcast.
got a freaking podcast.
So, like, I gotta check that out.
We say that because we have a podcast.
Yeah, but I gotta check that out. But the guy Zach Gleb followed up that question with basically like, is Dex in the long-term plans? And he kind of all but confirmed it. He talked about how much he loved Dex as a player, that they have a good relationship, and he kind of wants to see him here.
I want to see another staple player. Like, obviously, because Sterling Shepard is probably our biggest staple player that we have, and we may not see him back next year. I want to have a staple player here, man. I want to have a player that's going to retire here, and Dex love for Dexter Lawrence to be that guy, So we'll see what happens. Yeah, but Joe Schoen made a lot of I don't know if you want to expand on it more, because I wasn't able to watch all of those interviews.
So just a couple quotes that come from mind. Like I said, revealed that Dexter was the guy. He talked about Daniel Jones, and as usual, he's always been very, very generous with giving praise to Daniel Jones. He gave praise where it was necessary. I feel like every podcast probably asked him a question along the lines of,
he speaks very highly of him.
Yeah, every podcast asked him a question along the lines of, did Daniel Jones, how he's performing now, improve your impression of him compared to what you thought he was? And his response was always generally, Daniel's doing the right things. He always had a high opinion of him because he loved the physical traits Daniel had even before
now he knows
Joe Schoen came to the Giants. But then he said he does a lot of things great, and he does those gotta have it moments is what he called it, and he referred to the 5 fourth-quarter comebacks where he leads the NFL.
He always mentions that when he talks about Daniel Jones. Like, it seems like he's very proud of that.
The thing is he's very proud of that. Well, I found it kind of funny that everybody on Twitter is scrambling to overanalyze this to say this means he's going to give him an extension. I'm like, how can you say that when he immediately follows it up with there's still 9 weeks of football left? We've
And then
only
there's the
had
other
Daniel
side.
for 8 weeks.
And then there's the other side where they say that since they didn't make a trade, that means they're planning to get rid of Daniel and they're planning to get rid of everybody and blow up the roster. So
Yeah. It's just like, yo, and really even us talking right now is all a moot point.
yeah,
Because I've said it so much. I'm like, I trust Joe Shane. And if you trust where this team is right now, then you trust the people in charge. Just let them make the moves when they make their moves, bro. Like Aaron, I'm not sure. I don't know if I can say anything to make you not a sad fan right now because you seem completely depressed. He's like, the Giants are gonna get swept by Dallas. If we get swept by Dallas, so be it, bro. Like we're 6-2,
and would that
and
necessarily
we could be 6-2 in the second half with the same players we became 6-2.
yeah,
Like,
and would that necessarily be of course it's a bad thing to lose, especially divisional games to the Cowboys, but would that necessarily be a groundbreaking thing?
If a year from now we're a contender without everybody around the league questioning are the Giants legit, then it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. I'm listen. Bottom line, to wrap this in a bow, I am more than okay with Joe Shane staying put, and I'm playing the long game. Of course, in deep inside my heart, do I want the Giants to make a groundbreaking trade that helps out? Absolutely. I would want to see the Giants, get a player that we can, patch in there and we fix things right now. But I'm playing the long game. I'm playing the long game. What's fun? What happened?
I saw 2 comments that are with my agenda low key. Highlight Stan, the first one.
Yo,
and shout out to Frankie G.
Freaking anime
Highlight
laugh,
Stan, bro. Highlight Stan, bro. The long comment from Stan. Highlight it. He said the Peter Schrager interview was my favorite because he mentioned how he gave Josh Allen an A+ grade in a game where he threw 5 picks against Nebraska in 2017, maybe foreshadowing evil laugh. Now highlight Marjorie's comment. I think it's possible the Giants pick up a QB in the draft. You could take it off. For anybody that's new, they probably think I'm a DJ hater. But no, this is still a very real thing that Giants fans are so opposed to happening for some reason. It's still a very real thing. It's very real that we could extend Daniel Jones and he's here for another 2 or 3 years. It's very real that we could still pick up QB in the draft. Those are just 2 things you have to accept.
Everything is still on the table. Nothing has changed.
I don't know why it's so hard for fans to accept it. And once again, I trust whatever decision this man down here makes.
Yeah, me.
If he sticks with Daniel, I trust him. If he gets a new QB, I trust him. What is so hard to do with that, man?
I said that even with for example, I keep touching on this point, even with the Jerry Jeudy example, if Joe Shane were to make this move, I would trust it. I would just say, you know what, they made it. I trust whatever decision they are going to make. And since they didn't make a decision, I trust that whatever, since they didn't make a decision, that's the best decision. Because I have that trust in this coaching staff. I'm not going to question anything like previous coaching staffs. I really legit have trust in them. And this team, we talk about these 6 wins and where we're at position wise, as far as making the playoffs and the position we have in making the playoffs. Nothing has changed yet. As far as we're still rebuilding, nothing has changed. We don't just, hey, we're 6-2. Let's turn off the rebuilding switch and let's go on full on win now mode mid-season. You don't just do that. Especially look at the draft that we had. We didn't get star-studded players. We got players to fit.
We could have very much ended up if we actually made some trades. We could have very much ended up like the 2017 Giants, who were a playoff team, but they had depth. They had holes on the O-line, and they had holes other ways on the team, they were really bad.
Thank you. And we put ourselves in bad position because we spent $200 million in that 2016 free agency.
I want to give a shout out to Frankie. He says, I think the Giants could trade for T. Higgins in the offseason like the Eagles did for Brown.
RZO in the building.
Shout out to Rob. I really like T. Higgins. I'm a big fan of T. Higgins. I wouldn't trade for him. There's no good wide receivers in this year's free agency class, which is why I tweeted out earlier today we might actually be drafting a wide receiver in the first round. But if we don't, or maybe if we do, 2 free agency classes for now. T. Higgins is a guy I got my eye on. I really do like him. I feel like he has major potential to be wide receiver 1.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And especially with Cincinnati having Jamar Chase, and I don't know how long Tyler Boyd's going to be there. They're okay with wide receiver. T. Higgins is not a guy they need to keep around. So
and bookend tackles and Aaron, listen, bro. I love all my Giants fans out there. It seems like I can't convince you that this team is not just one player away. this team isn't a wide receiver away. That's all I could say. We're not a
We're
wide
not
receiver
a-
away,
we're not a-
and there
we're
wasn't
not
a Stephon Diggs out there. That's
we're not a
and I'm
player
gonna leave
away
it at
from
that,
anything.
bro. I'm gonna
Like
leave
we're
it
not
at that.
like forget about wide receiver. We're not a player away from anything right now. Like we have
Yeah.
I can't believe that Giants fans are still not understanding that this loss against Seattle really exposed our problems that we're having on this team. Okay, we are not in position to win a championship right now. Let's just be real. We're gonna try to. Of course, I want to see how far this team can get. I'm not going to sit here and say we're not ready. Let's just lose and let's look into the draft. I want to win as much games as freaking possible and see how far we can get, so that when we go into next season, we can really evaluate what we're missing. And we can go out there and address those needs in the next free agency and in the next draft. You don't just go ahead and throw freaking second, third, and fourth round picks on freaking wide receivers and think that's going to fix your issues. On top of that, these guys have expiring contracts, or like a Brendan Cook situation, he's due freaking $26 million.
You just can't afford him. You just cannot afford him.
He is literally going to be one of the most highest paid wide receivers next season. Brandon Cooks, who's been in the league since 2014.
And Brandon Cooks is good, especially
he's
when
good,
healthy.
but he's 30 years old.
Yeah, like that. Like there's drawbacks. Anyway, before we close it out, I want to say something. I'm gonna apologize in advance if you had a card prepared for this, but I don't know. But it might slip out of my mind if I don't say it. Another thing that Joe Shane said in regards to that Josh Allen comment, where he was like, the dude threw 5 picks and whatnot, what it suggested to me, and somebody said this to me about a month ago, and it's really only clicking now for some reason. We could all admit and all feel bad for Daniel Jones, because we should. He has the worst supporting cast throughout his first 4 years of football. That's no joke. That's just a fact. It's a reality, and I do feel bad for him. I wish he had better. But at the same time, the idea that we can't fully evaluate him, I'm starting to disagree with that notion, because pro scouts do it all the time with college quarterbacks. Not just Josh Allen, who had nothing around him in Wyoming. Almost every successful NFL quarterback didn't necessarily have a great team around them. Like, they do this all the time with college players. They look at them. There's not always a good supporting cast around them, but they could still fully evaluate the player.
Because
I'm not saying Joe Shane has. Yeah, I'm not saying Joe Shane has finished evaluating Daniel Jones. I fully believe him when he says there's still 9 weeks of football left, and he's going to make a decision at the end of the season. But this notion that you can't evaluate him, I'm starting to disagree with it. Is he not going to have the best chance to put on the best show to the best of his ability, put the best plays out there to the best of his ability? 100%. Daniel Jones does not have nearly an opportunity to do that. But I do think that these professional people could do their evaluations.
To quickly touch on that, I will say it doesn't necessarily help the player situation or the evaluator situation, because he's not. You're really just making inferences. You're really just making educated guesses on if this player is good. And obviously they struck gold with Josh Allen, and we talked about that 5-pick game that he had. But when it comes to like a Daniel Jones, where you're not getting guys open and stuff like that, you can really make an inference on how DJ would react if those guys were open, or if he did have a lot of weapons around him and they're moving the ball down the field. But obviously the case is that they're just not able to. So I wouldn't say it necessarily hurts Daniel Jones, but it doesn't really help Daniel Jones. I don't really think it helps him. I think it's just a lot of these evaluators and GMs and scouts are going to be projecting on what these players can possibly do. But it's really, I would say it's hard.
To Rob's comment, Rob, you're right. Yeah, of course, college and NFL not the same, and of course, majority of the players that get drafted don't make it, bro. Otherwise, you'd have thousands of stars. Mm-hmm. But to say that evaluations can be made, I don't think it's completely true. But we spent
we spent a lot of time
40 minutes, but it was a good 40 minutes.
It was a good conversation. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about in this today. So, this is kind of like talking about trades a little bit, but let's just get into this subject and just get it out the way.
Is there any reality to this, or could there be OBJ coming back to the Giants?
Yeah, again, we're going to do our due diligence all the time, and he's a guy that we've reached out to his representatives. We're in contact with his representatives, where he is on his rehab, what he's projected to be, and whether it's 4 weeks from now or 5 weeks in terms of his health, when he's going to be available again. He tore that ACL in February, so his timeline, we got to figure out what that is. When's he going to be 100% healthy? What he's looking for financially. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But
so
I want to say, because you mentioned you didn't get to catch many of the interviews, in that same interview with Tiki and Tierney, I think it was either that one or the official press conference, one out of the two. somebody asked him, like, did he interact with Odell? Did he know he was in the building? And his response was, I didn't know he was in the building until he left. And I was like, I don't know about that, Joe Shane. I think you
Yeah.
know who enters your building and who doesn't.
Of course.
And then on the it was one of these other, like I said, he had a lot of media appearances. On one of them, he flat out said that he's contacted Odell and that him and Odell's representatives are in contact currently.
You know what's crazy too? What he said at the end of that, it sounded like they were talking about making a return, because I don't remember exactly word for word that he was saying, but he was saying like
plus highlight what Marjorie said as well.
I don't know if
this is tampering or not, and it's funny, like not an official, but a quote from John Mara very recently was when he talked to Odell. He literally asked Odell, "Is this considered tampering? Am I allowed to do this?"
As far as Mara, he's a free agent. It's not tampering.
No, but I'm just saying that's like the joke that Mara made.
Oh, okay, yeah. Listen, man. I would like to see Odell back, man. He had a really rough stint with the Giants, obviously, when he was drafted, and all the drama that came with it. But right now, the Giants are just trying to win games, man, and we really need to stray away from this. Although it's like the Giants are a classy organization, right? And I've always prided myself of being a fan of New York Giants because we are a classy organization. But I think sometimes we take it a little too far, where we want players with no freaking personality at all, and like we don't want any problems when it comes to that. But you see all these like freaking successful teams out there. You look at the Chiefs, not necessarily the Cowboys, because they haven't been successful, but they still allow these type of players. But like the Chiefs and a lot of these teams always have players with personalities, and Odell is definitely one of them. And we can find a way to win with these guys. I think their talent really outweighs what they freaking say, off the field on a freaking random interview,
Yeah, this is not a Kadarius Toney situation where the man did nothing for us, bro.
Right. I mean, Odell brought a lot to this. He really like made us excited about like New York Giants football again.
Will he make a move for OBJ? I think that question's already been answered. Like, he's in contact with him, so that question's already been answered.
I would say
whether Odell comes back is a different question, though. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, but I would say that I think when he's healthy, they're gonna make an offer. I really think that.
The question is, and this really comes down to things we don't know about. What is Odell looking for? And I said this like months ago when this idea first came to fruition. I'm like, does he want to come back? If he truly wants to come back,
he's allowed, but his representatives are talking. Think about it.
I was gonna say it depends. Like, if he really wants a homecoming type thing, then he'd be willing to take a very team friendly deal, because that's all we can give him.
Yeah, but for sure, I think any team is gonna give him a team friendly. Nobody's gonna sign into a big contract. But I have to cut out that clip a little bit. But Tiki was saying, and he made a good point. He was like, of course, you would think that Odell, at his age and coming off injury, he would want to go to a contending team. And he's like, the Giants are kind of contenders, not right now, but like in the near future, they're kind of contenders at 6-2 right now. Like, this may be a spot for Odell to come to. And I was like, that makes sense.
And then the thing is only in this situation, if he comes for a cheap contract, kind of like going back to Brandon Cooks, the one somebody we're talking about in the trade section. If Brandon Cooks actually gets released by the Texans, that's somebody you want to target for a very cheap deal as well. And that way you don't give up those picks to get them. But if you get Odell or Cooks on a very cheap deal and you still use those picks to fill out your roster, you're in an even better position next year. And I think you look better for standing pat at the trade deadline.
Yeah. So, I mean, that being said, we don't know.
And Rob, you're completely right. He says depends on cost compared to risk. And they're doing all the evaluations they can.
That's what he said. That's what Joe Shane was saying at the end of it. He's like, it all depends on, what he's looking for as far as financially.
And how healthy. He's mentioned several times. He mentioned the ACL several times. John says,
I think he's
OBJ.
very interested in bringing him back. Oh, I'm sorry. I think he's very interested in bringing him back. But
John says OBJ was clapping hundreds into LSU players' hands on national TV. Is he really worried about tampering? He's not the one that's worried about tampering. Mara is worried about tampering.
That's funny.
And that's pretty cool, Marjorie.
Wants to make sure he's healthy. Will he be? That's exactly what he wants to. What he wants to know. So, I mean, anything else before we move on to the next subject? I just wanted to bring that as a topic.
I'm just gonna reiterate to the chat. The question, in my opinion, has already been answered. I think they will be making moves for OBJ. It's just, will OBJ come back? That's the real question now.
Okay, so I don't have
And
any
Rob,
topic.
I'm sorry. Rob had a really nice, this will be completely storybook. He's been saying for a while now, he said on Just Chilling last night, he says OBJ is going to be back versus Dallas. That would be
funny?
so poetic.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. I wouldn't mind that. And that's when's the first week we play Dallas?
Well,
Right after
he's
Houston?
talking about for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Dallas is our Thanksgiving game, Thursday.
Yeah. All right. So I don't have topic intros for here, guys. So we're just gonna pop this on the screen. I didn't really know what to put as a topic intro for this one. So listen, I'm not on this train. I'm not on this train.
I'm not on the train either.
But it's okay to talk about. Let's be real, guys. It's okay to talk about. And so I'm not going to sit here and say the Giants are overrated, because the Giants are winning. They're still winning games, right? They're still winning games. What I will say, and I don't know if this is classified as me overrating them or I think they're overrated. But what I will say is that I got killed on Twitter. I got killed on Twitter, and I don't care, because this is what I think. I don't think the New York Giants are that good as what we say we are. Like, we talked about it a lot.
I'm with Nate here.
The Giants are rated. That's about it.
That's about it. We're rated.
I don't think the Giants are as good as we say we are. Not saying that we are bad. I have to reiterate that, because Twitter would just turn something that you said and make it a whole new sentence. I'm not saying we're bad at all. Never have I said in this entire season, and Kush could freaking co-sign with me on that, I've never said we were a bad team at all. But I did say that we weren't a top 5 team. And I think we showed that. I think it was brought to light against Seattle, because although there were a lot of mistakes that weren't really the team's fault of us losing the game, like Richie James costing us a lot of points, right? 10 points. But the thing is, we allowed a Richie James fumble to really get this game out of hands, okay? Against a Seattle team that is supposed to be very competitive with us. And we allowed Richie James to lose us the entire game and make us get blown out. We cannot be a top 5 team, and that is how we either win or lose games, with one single mistake. We talked about this earlier as well. We cannot call ourselves a top 5 team when we're winning games through the fourth quarter with game-winning drives. Daniel Jones has 5 game-winning drives. We can't ask this man to have 16 freaking game-winning drives. We can't ask this man to do that. Okay, and we can't win every game 20-17 every single game. It's not sustainable. Now, I will not blame the defense at all, but one thing I will knock on the defense on is that we're not getting interceptions. Let's just be clear on that. Let's just be transparent. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say our defense is perfect, because it's not perfect. Okay, we allow a lot of runs, big runs, a lot of chunk runs. We are bend but do not break. Sometimes I don't want to say sometimes we break, but we allow a lot of chunk plays, and we're not getting interceptions. Okay, we're getting fumbles, and a lot of these fumbles sometimes are due to the other players, not even us doing it. We had a couple muff punts as well. The defense is you gotta hold them accountable for that too. They need to get some more turnovers as far as the passing game goes. The offense is absolutely just atrocious. As much as we talk about the wide receivers, the offensive line. You go back and forth about Daniel Jones' play, the play calling with Mike Kafka. I know you were very vocal on that. We are just not a top 5 team yet. Do I think we are very competitive? Yeah, I don't know where I would rate us though. I think top 15 is not good enough. I think we're better than that, but I think I would say around top 10, but it's very hard for me to believe that we are already a top 10 team. Maybe that's just something the Giants need to prove to me more, but I don't feel like we've really taken strong advantage of a good schedule.
Go ahead, finish up.
Yeah, we really taken advantage of a very weak schedule, right? This schedule was one of the easiest in the NFL. It should be no surprise to us that we're doing well against this schedule. Now, I would say the only team that I'm legit shocked that we beat right now is probably the Baltimore Ravens. Every single team, I think at this point, of how these teams are playing and what their records were last year, I think we should have beat them, because this is a very easy schedule. If this was one of the hardest schedules in the NFL, I think we would be talking about this team being one of the worst teams right now and one of the worst records. To be honest with you, if this is one of the worst schedules that we had, like a hard schedule, I think our freaking our schedule or our win-loss ratio could be flipped, to be honest with you. Now we're winning games, we're taking advantage. We can only play the teams that we're playing, right? We can only play the teams on our schedule. But I don't really want us to look into us saying that we're a top 5 team when we have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. And the only really shocker that we really beat was Baltimore. I mean, Green Bay, we thought Green Bay was a shocker. Green Bay just sucks this year. Tennessee, we only beat because of missed field goal. We barely beat Carolina. Okay. I think our best wins came from Baltimore, which is, like I said, a surprising win, and Chicago, in my opinion. And Chicago is freaking Chicago. So I think we're a really good team. And I think they beat a lot of expectations this year. But I don't think that gives us the right to say we're a top 5 team, regardless of our record. And I'll leave it at that. Go ahead.
Are you sure you're done?
Yeah, and we can go back and forth.
Want a whole soliloquy? You want a whole soliloquy? Had me waiting. Like,
soliloquies are short, okay?
Went on a whole windbag rant to say the Giants are overrated, but not overrated. Like, come on, bro. What are you doing? Like, what are you really doing, bro?
Because overrated is such a loaded word,
turn.
Bro. It's
my turn.
It's my turn. Go ahead, man.
It's my turn.
Yell it, bro.
I disagree with KB, and I had a feeling I was gonna disagree with him.
I know we were gonna disagree.
As soon as he got like halfway through his essay of a response, I was like, "This guy, oh brother, this guy stinks." Nate, facts, Nate. KB just talking, bro.
Nate
he
says,
just gets on here.
That in the end, the
this is true.
Giants will go down as
one of the teams in NFL history.
I think he forgot a word. As one of the teams.
No, that's the joke. You don't know that meme? You know how people say it's one of the best or one of the worst? When it's just rated, like he said, it's just rated. Oh, they were one of the teams in NFL history.
That flew right over my head. KB just talking. No, I'm not just talking. It makes sense.
I swear to God.
It's an easy schedule.
Let me go.
Easy schedule. All right, good. Go. No,
bro, go.
Yo, you take so long. Just go. Just go. Of course, KB's uncultured.
Okay, so I disagree with KB because basically he's saying we're overrated, but he doesn't want to use the word overrated. Just say we're overrated. Say that you don't like the connotation of it. But you're at the end of your response, you basically said, yeah, we're overrated. I don't think we're overrated. And I agree with the very first point that you made, which is not on Twitter. I'd say in general, in life, people will take things you say, misconstrue them, and put a different meaning on them. There's a great meme. Since you're not cultured, you missed the joke that Nate put in. I don't know if you're cultured enough to know this one. The meme is basically, it's a screenshot from Twitter. It's like this guy saying that Twitter is the only place you could say something and people misconstrue it as something else. Like you could say that you like pancakes and somebody would say, so you hate waffles? That's a completely different sentence. What are you talking about?
Thank you. That's what everybody would say.
So it's the same thing with, I'll apply that to KB and also apply it to what I'm saying. We're not overrated, but we have flaws. I said it earlier in the stream. We have flaws. We're not overrated because we are a legit winning team in the NFL in the sense that I think we could be in any game with any team that we play. I won't go as far as to say that we will win any game with any team that we play, but we could be very competitive with any team in the NFL.
What would that make us though?
But because of our flaws, that's why it's like, yo, we could very well get blown out in these games, or who knows? It's a close game. We win 20-17. But we're not overrated. We have a lot of flaws. We had a lot of depth. We have tons of injuries, of course. Our offensive line, we have one amazing player in Andrew Thomas, a couple average guys, and some guys that I'm not sure, like, they're kind of being covered up by the play of, like, their fellow offensive linemen. We're really good in run blocking. Don't let the stats fool you. Other than Andrew Thomas, we kind of suck in pass blocking for the offensive line. If you really watch the games, you know
we had in years, though.
And it is the best offensive line we had in years, 100%. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like, the defense has holes all over it. Wink comes up every now and then, but as we saw with Seattle, he didn't come up enough, and it's like those flaws get exposed. We're not overrated because we can stay in these games with teams, and we are 6-2. Like, that needs to be respected.
I would say,
but there's flaws. That's my response. There are flaws with this team.
I would agree with you, but to an extent, because I wouldn't say we aren't overrated because we could stick in these games. I would say we could stick in these games and win, because there are a bunch of scrappy teams in NFL history that have bad records, but nobody's gonna go back and say, "Oh, that was a good team." No, because they lost. Okay, if we were scrappy in these games, but we lost, we will be a bad team. And we were literally one drive. Like Daniel Jones has 5 game-winning drives through 6 victories. We are literally one drive away from being a technically bad team.
Well, we're not. That's why I disagree with you. It's just because we're not.
Okay, but what if we were unsuccessful in those 5 game-winning drives? Would you think we're a bad team or a top 5 team?
If like you're talking about if we lost all one possession games.
Yeah, no, yeah. If we lost those if
So
Daniel Jones was unsuccessful in those game-winning drives,
if we're 0-8,
no, because he has 5 game-winning drives and 6 victories, so we will be 1.
So if we're 1-7, of course we're a bad team. What are you talking about?
Okay, so that is the difference. Is those
that is the difference?
drives.
But like,
how does that make us?
That's I don't feel like that's
team?
good. That's
I
good
feel like
supporting evidence for your argument, though.
I feel like it makes us a good team and a well-coached team. I don't think
we're one drive away, but I don't think being one drive away necessarily means we could have very easily lost those games.
This, Coach, versus look at the people look at the teams that.
But do you hear what I'm saying? I'm saying I don't think being one drive away means that we are. It was very easy for us to go to 1-7 because I don't think that. Because we could apply that to guess what? We could apply that to the 2011 team that went to the Super Bowl. They had a lot. They had 4 game-winning drives that game, and they were only 9-7. I could very well say, oh, that team was so close to being 5-11, but like no, because
I'm pretty sure we can go back and look at games that they had where they faced opponents and they won convincingly. Like that's. I don't want it's like living on the edge. It's like literally the difference between one drive makes you a good or a bad team. I don't think that makes you a great team. It makes you a good team because you're winning those
I would
games.
say the difference between how a team responds to being down and having less talent
makes them
good.
You a
good or bad team.
Doesn't make you great. It makes you good.
Yeah, but you're saying like once again the crux of your argument.
No.
Is that because we're one drive away?
No.
I'm telling it to you how you're telling it to the audience, bro.
Listen to me.
And I'm sure the audience is hearing what I'm hearing.
When you say,
let me know, chat.
Listen, when you say that a team is top 5, you're not saying they're good. You're saying they're elite. You're saying they're great.
You're the only person this entire stream that has said they're top 5.
What are you talking? There's a little bit. Twitter is all over.
I said this entire stream. What? Remember the meme I used earlier? That's you right now. Did I ever say that? No, you're talking about waffles. I'm talking about pancakes. Okay, do you realize that? I haven't said that at all.
And I know power rankings aren't indicative of where you feel like a team is ranked legit. But where would you legit rank this? Because you've already said that you think top 5 for the Giants is a fine power ranking. Where would you think legit?
Yeah, but power they changes week to week.
I said it's not indicative.
I think that we are legitimately a top 10 team in the NFL, and we're borderline top 5.
I don't know if we're borderline top 5, but okay, I can. That's agree. That's like agree to disagree.
But let me respond to what you were saying though, and then we can move on. Or if you want to continue going back and forth, we can continue back.
That's an insult to Kush, by the way, not me. He just said I'm arguing with a wall.
Yeah, I know that is an insult to me. I feel bad now,
Nate
bro.
just screwed that up.
Damn. I don't even feel motivated to finish what I was going to say, but let's go to the next topic, bro.
Yo, Nate tried so hard and that was just a fail. I don't think Nate understands that sentence.
Or maybe he was trying to insult me, bro. Who knows? Let's go to the next
Maybe
topic.
That was intentional. Maybe it was intentional.
Let's go to the next
but okay, so
that's what I'm saying, Vets. That's what I'm saying. That argument of game, like we're a drive away in each of these games from being this record. Like we could apply that to any team. That's not how it works. That's my point. Let's go to the next one.
And that's actually a good point. I would not say that's a bad point. That's actually a good point that I guess I didn't think about it too hard. But to be honest with you, like I said, let's not even say Daniel Jones loses all those game-winning drives. Let's say he loses 3.
I'll bet. As long as you're on my side, Nate.
You're arguing with the wall.
Who did that? Not me. I didn't do that. KB completely missed what I just did. That's hilarious. And he can't rewind because he's live.
What did you do? I was reading the comments.
Going to the next topic.
Try to direct this L. He's taking it. I'm not taking an L at all. I think this is a good debatable topic. It's not like I don't think the Giants are bad at all. I know there are people on Twitter as well. I don't co-sign with them. I know people on Twitter also saying they're bad. I don't think they're bad because elite coaching is part of a team, and I think we have elite coaching staff. Besides, Mike Kafka being a dunce sometimes, but I just don't feel like we're top 5. I don't think we could stick with it with most of the teams in the league. Well, not most of the teams, some of the teams, like the elite teams. That's all.
Next topic.
Next topic. Let's go to the next topic. And this one is just kind of piggybacking off of this, of what the discussion we had. But let's get into this bye week, man. The Giants are in good, I love bye weeks right in the smack dab in the middle of the season because it gives any injuries that, potential guys that you want to come back that are sustaining injuries early on in the season. It gives them a kind of a good timetable to come back. Damn, no one. Let's see what I did. You really telling everybody to not say it? Damn, bro. Yeah, and I gotta go back. Now I have to go back and look. But I can do that right now on my phone.
Good luck finding the timestamp.
I can just go
Bi-week
back-
progress report. Just by default, it's an A+. Just like how I
would
said
say
the
A+
draft
as
progress
well.
report was an A+, just because we got Kayvon and Neal. Just because of the fact that we're 6-2, it's an A+.
I would say, yeah, I would say
man.
just from record alone, it's an A+. Like with all the other stuff that we talk about aside of our flaws, we are 6-2, and I don't know where you had us going at the bye. I had us going 4-4 at the bye. Now, and that was a generous 4-4. Like I was being generous, and I know, this is an easy schedule, right? We talk about it all the time. It's a very easy schedule, and we felt like we were going to get a lot more wins than we probably deserve. But we're sitting. I don't think anybody thought we were going to be 6-2 at this point. And a lot of people had us having 6 wins the entire season. There are a lot of people saying that we would have 4 wins throughout the season. We already matched that and added 2 more wins to that. I was in the New York Giants at 6-2 at the bye is a huge win and deserves an A+ with the progress. They still have to reflect and look at themselves, man. They really need to look at the way that they're winning these games because they're closing out well. One thing I will tell you is that the Giants fixed the problem of past years. They know how to close out a game. Like towards the end of Tom Coughlin's tenure, oh my God, 2015, bro. 2015, we could have actually had, with the roster we had, we could have still been a good team, surprisingly so, but we just couldn't close out games. We kept freaking squandering leads in the fourth quarter. This Giants team knows how to close out game. That's a question that has been answered this season, but they really need to look at themselves of how they are approaching these games because it seems like they're really relying on them winning in the fourth quarter, and I don't want them to do that. I want them to go out there early, smack them in the mouth, and don't allow these teams to gain any sort of momentum through fourth quarters. And and then obviously I think the defense is good. Like I said, we really need to get some freaking interceptions because this is absolutely insane. We have 1 interception on the year so far, I believe. Am I correct about that? Julian Love's interception? That is
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
That is it. That's really bad. Okay. I'm pretty damn sure we are last in the league in interceptions.
I know this was a point that I said, although it could fit for this as well when I was talking about the offensive line, that people don't realize the offensive line is still a flaw, even though it's better in years. And I specifically referred to pass protection. Daniel Jones has been sacked 25 times through 8 games. We could all agree last year's offensive line was worse. He was only sacked 17 times through 8 games last year. So the progress report is still an A+, but there's notes there. There's a lot of notes there.
Yeah, there's a lot
of
of
A+,
notes.
deservedly so. Once again, the record that we're at, with the injuries that we're dealing with the deficiency on the roster that we're dealing with the depth that we're dealing with the wide receiving core that we're dealing with, that alone more than warrants the A+ grade. The notes of core are the offensive line has a lot to clean up in the second half of the season with pass blocking for sure, and also with run blocking. Like, we've been good in run blocking, but we should and we could be a lot better with run blocking. The play calling that I ranted so much about with Mike Kafka earlier could be better. And tackling could be better as well, especially when it comes to outside runs on our defense.
Yes.
Those are just a couple of things to name. Those are the things that I believe can be improved. Every other problem that we have, I don't necessarily think can be improved this year because it's a lack of talent.
Yeah, I agree. Offensively, I knew that, this is why I'm not really faulting this team for their offensive woes because we kind of expected this to happen. Like, we always had this hope that Brian Daboll was just going to magically fix the offense and we're going to look like the Buffalo Bills. Like, that was everybody's hope. But we got to be realistic about things, and we got to kind of take things just a step at a time. They've done a lot. We're 6-2, but we're still seeing a lot of these problems with the offense. Despite having, better play calling and play designs, we're still scoring around the same amount of points we scored last year per game. I don't know what the exact score per game, points per game we had last year, but I would say it's pretty similar. And the problems with passing the ball. I think it's crazy to say, but we had a 400-yard game with Jason Garrett's offense last year. In passing the ball.
Yeah.
So of course we don't have the same guys out there. Let's be real.
We definitely have a way better offense. And
Yeah,
Marjorie said it. I'm not sure if it's still up there. Maybe you have to scroll up. She said something along the lines of, it like now will be a really good time after the bye to for this team to score 30+ points.
Yeah, and I think Texans is a good team to score 30 points on. I think this is a good pick-me-up game, to be honest with you, man. Having the two since the Texans have like one win this season so far. Am I right about that? Let me see, because I know they tied. They tied with
They did
whoever.
tie. Was that week 1 or week 2 that they tied?
That was week 1. Texans. Let's look up Texans real quick. And I don't think they're a good defensive team. They're 1-5-1. How about that? And they're going to be facing the Eagles tomorrow night, which is a weird Thursday night. How do we not get a Thursday night matchup, but the Texans do against the Eagles? That doesn't make no damn sense.
I kind of like not being in prime time. We suck in prime time.
I know we suck in prime time, but I'm so used to
not referring to you, but other Giants fans. Y'all need to accept that we suck in prime time, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I like primetime games because it really reminds me of like the old like Giants teams. Like we used to get like freaking 5 primetime games a year. See, sometimes 6, bro. Even when we sucked when we had Odell, and we still get primetime games because of Odell. But I miss playing on like those Thursday night football games were my favorite because we always played we always play Washington on Thursday night football and we always whooped them. So I don't know. I guess I kind of missed that. But Detroit too, they have horrible defense. Yeah, but Detroit has a great offense, and it seems like their offense, no matter who they have out there, because they have a lot of injuries, especially to their star players, they're still scoring a lot of points. I mean, they had that goose egg against New England, which is a fluke because the rest of the season they've been scoring like 30 points a game. So that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, we're facing some bad defenses coming up. The Texans, like I said, I don't know where they rank defensively. I wouldn't. You're 1-5-1. I'm pretty sure you don't have a good defense.
Listen.
So
going back to what the previous thing was, when I disagreed that they were, I don't think the Giants are overrated. Guess what? A good team, which I think the Giants are a good team, they beat bad teams. I think we're gonna beat the Texans, and I think we can beat the Lions. So like that's not to say I'm not worried.
Next, right?
Man,
Lions
our flaws. Yeah, those are the next 2 teams: Texans, Lions, and of course Thanksgiving.
I like that. That could take us to 8 wins.
The next good team that we play is the Cowboys, and it's really the next important matchup. Like we're battling with the Cowboys for the 2nd seed right now, and honestly, I might prefer the 6th seed to the 5th seed or 4th seed or whatever it is. I might prefer the lower seed because that way we could take down Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. That's all I'm saying. Because we're on the opposite side of the bracket.
Okay, we'll see what happens there. I know right now we're slated to play Seattle if the season ended today, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to face Seattle again. I'm not ready. I'm not necessarily.
We'll have a Vanille.
I'm not necessarily scared of Seattle, but I just think they don't match up well against us.
We'll have Odell by that time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's crazy because he's a free agent. We can sign him at any damn time. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Was that the last topic, though? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you got the chat.
Yeah, that was the last topic, though. We can just feed off the chat. It's 10:30, so we're going to wrap this up soon, guys. So you guys go.
Yeah, we're already at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So Giants literally played the NFC and AFC champions last year on Monday Night Football. Yeah, I know the Chiefs and the Bucks, and that was like through like a 3-week span. That was so stupid. The schedule
that was a rough time, man.
Listen, the schedule makers definitely.
The schedule makers don't like us even this year, bro.
No, what's wrong with this one,
bro? Our last like 6 games are all divisional games. Though that's the toughest part of our schedule.
True,
it's like 6 straight weeks.
That's true, but we got an easy ass schedule with a mid-season
to begin it, yes, but I would prefer if it was sprinkled through. We literally have one division matchup in the first 11 weeks.
Yeah,
of the season.
Listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Terrible. I think the Jaguars already played 5. They already played 5, and there's only 6 in a freaking season, so they played 5 of their division matchups already.
Both of them are horrible. That's what I'm saying. Why couldn't y'all sprinkle it, man?
I know. They should definitely spread that out a lot better.
Rob's spitting some facts right now with his most recent comment.
We were at apex of injuries in Seattle but hold on, let's be real. If you guys are looking at the injury sheets, Seattle is just as injured as we are, almost just as injured as we
Yeah,
are.
but the argument here is that if we were at this goes back to what I was saying. After like 4 weeks of traveling nationally and
Right, but if we were
internationally,
completely
combined with
healthy, but then you
injuries,
could say, what if they were completely healthy?
you're not a Giants fan, bro. Just say that, bro. Like,
You have to be realistic. Take your freaking blue lens off. Why do people say that? They're like, but if we were really healthy, if we were completely healthy, what if they were completely healthy? You're just assuming that they're not healthy, and what if we get our players back? Come on, you guys got to be kidding me. That's like saying that's like having two teams going against each other, and both the teams. Listen. That's like two teams going against each other, and both of them are playing their backup quarterbacks, and you're like, oh man, if we had our starting quarterback, we would have won that game. What if they had their starting quarterback? You understand? Like, the Seattle is literally. I think there was like a stat out there. I don't know how they.
You know what's funny about this chat is that he's completely misinterpreting the
Kid
comment.
Blue gotta go.
Facts. You know what's funny about this? This is how I know Kid Blue's not a fan, because he's
I'm a
completely
realist. I'm a true
misinterpreting
realist.
what Rob is saying, and he didn't even let me finish explaining what Rob is saying. Rob is referring to if we stay the last seed and we face Seattle, this time we'll have these guys and then potentially a free agent wide receiver. But
right.
KB's hate and anger for the New York Giants football team blinds him so that he didn't see that, and he just went into a rant.
My hate and anger is for? It's for the blue lens, all right? It's for the freaking blue lens. I love my team.
But you didn't even read and understand what it was, so you do not love your team.
I love my team, but I think Giants Twitter did this to me, man, because
Eagles fan.
I'm tired of seeing all these takes that look like we're the best thing since freaking sliced bread this season, and that like we're everything, and everything is not our fault, and the Giants are just a perfect team, and we were giving excuses to everybody. Like, I don't want to hear all that. We are injured. Yes, we are injured.
And I agree with Rob here, since KB is going to continue hating. Going back to his point, which is being healthy in a potential matchup. If they're healthy as well and we're healthy, I think we are better when all of our players are healthy versus they with them players healthy.
I could see that. I could see that.
No, you can't. Stop lying.
Now
you're trying to get back on the side of things.
No, I could see that because we have more pivotal players injured than they do.
Exactly.
But
so that answers your question. If we were healthy, you're saying, what if they're healthy? We would have beat them. You answer your own question.
This man sounds like Randy Savage right now, bro. Jesus. Champ Life Boxing. Replace KB with Bobby.
Bobby Skinner?
No, not Bobby Skinner.
That man ain't blessing me.
I don't think you're talking about Bobby Skinner. I don't think you're talking about Bobby Skinner. But listen, man, a lot worries me about this Giants team, okay? And I try to.
Is that really how you're gonna end this off, bro? We're going into a bye week. You can't end it off on a positive note, my guy. Real, bro.
I saw a tweet from Justin Pennick. He said the Giants opened up as 2.5-point underdogs against the bye week. I was like, oh man, that's funny. We're literally the 2020 Knicks, just gritty team that gets close wins. Exactly.
Hopefully, we make better offseason decisions than the 2020 Knicks did. That's
exactly my concern. What do we talk about Listen, listen what I'm saying. The 2020 Knicks.
I trust Joe Shane.
Yeah, I do too. I trust Joe Shane. I trust Brian Dable. But look at the 2020 Knicks, and then look at the 2021 Knicks. Then look at the 2016 Giants, and then look at the 2017 Giants. This may be a miracle season, but let's not make it a miracle season. Let's make this a season that is going to establish our winning culture. I don't want to be the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars where we go 11-5, and people, that's where Saxonville came out of nowhere. Saxonville, they thought that was going to be a dynasty over there. Oh, maybe Blake Bortles is the guy. Maybe Leonard Fournette is going to be, a generational freaking running back in Jacksonville. They make the freaking playoffs. They make it to the AFC Championship, and they freaking beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and make the AFC Championship and
they got robbed in the championship.
Wound up losing to
they got robbed. They got robbed.
I don't remember that game. I don't remember that game too much.
Don't you remember? That was the reason people were so angry the very next year that the Chiefs got robbed, because back-to-back AFC Championship games, the ref had very questionable calls that favored the Patriots and gave them the thing.
What was the questionable call in Jacksonville?
Who's the star linebacker at the time for Jacksonville?
I know you're talking about
at that time.
Just with a T.
That star linebacker, Miles Jack. That star
It was
linebacker.
Miles Jack was the other one. They had two
I think
really
it was.
good
I think it
linebackers
was
over there.
Miles Jack.
Okay.
Because you remember it was after that season they implemented the rule when a fumble happens they just let it play out before they call it. He
Okay.
got a fumble recovery. He returned it to the end zone, but they called it dead. So that took away 7 points, and then the Patriots wound up winning. And then the very next year, in addition to people hating the Patriots with good reason, you had the those terrible D Ford stuff happen, and then the refs overtime with the Patriots calls.
That just proves my point even more. So you're saying pretty much Jacksonville deserved to make the Super Bowl, and look what happened to them in 2017.
No, I'm saying
2018.
Oh my God! Once again, I'm talking about pancakes. You're talking about waffles. All I said was just say they were robbed. That's all I said. I didn't say anything else.
When you say they
All
were
I said
robbed,
was that
that means
Jacksonville
you
was
should've-
robbed.
Okay, what does that imply when you say they were robbed? It means they deserve to
All
win,
I'm saying, they should have won the game, but I feel
Okay,
like
so
you're
they
taking
should've
it
made
to
the Super
somewhere
Bowl.
completely different. I feel like you're
but-
taking it to somewhere completely different.
How am I taking it? I'm literally saying exactly what you're saying. They were robbed, which means you think they should have made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but what is the point you're trying to make right now?
What the
with
point
that?
I'm trying to make right now is that I don't want to be the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars, where right now in
Okay,
the moment
that's
we
fine.
think we're a great team, but then in the next year we turn out to
I'm
be
not
freaking
saying, but
fraud.
that's what I'm not saying, though. That's what I'm not saying. All right.
Okay, all right.
Let's end this off on a
Let's end this off
positive
on a good
note,
note.
bro.
We're 6-2, baby.
Damn.
We're 6-2. We have the second best.
Fake.
I think
bro.
we have the third best record in football right now. Okay, so let's go.
Who's
The Minnesota
Who's
Vikings
7-1?
6-1. The Minnesota
Oh, they're
Vikings
6-1. I was like, there's somebody 7-1.
They
You're
had
right.
a
They're
bye.
6-1.
They had a bye, so they're 6-1.
Who do
they're
they
the
play
third
next, bro?
I don't know, but we face them soon, and they got a little
We
stronger.
don't
with
face them
Seahawks.
soon. We face them in like a month and a half. That's not necessarily.
Yo, and
soon.
you know what's crazy? This talks about the Detroit game that happened in 2 weeks. They got rid of TJ Hawkinson. Crazy in division trade, by the way. That's insane. But yo, the Lions are gonna be easier.
I love that Karen
bro.
Rodgers got no help,
They're-
bro. I love it.
and they're not. And let me
Oh,
tell you,
God
the
damn it,
Detroit-
bro! They play
What?
the Commanders next. They're gonna be 7-1. They play the Commanders next. God damn it! But they play the Bills the week after.
Yeah.
They play the Bills the week after, so it balances out.
Yeah, so let's see what happens about that. But yo, the Lions, we talk about them having a top offense. A big part of that is TJ Hawkinson. And with them not having TJ Hawkinson, that may help us out a lot. So
Yeah.
we'll
see.
and if you're in
But,
bookends, top 5. Yeah, whatever bookend. Anyway, so all right, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. This is a great show. You guys are awesome as always. Leave a like.
You better
if guys
highlight the
enjoyed
Marge Bomb
stream.
pancake emoji.
The pancake emoji.
She heard what I was saying. This is next level thinking.
That's what I listen. I assumed exactly what you said. You
Next
said
level
Jacksonville
thinking.
deserves to make the Super Bowl. That's what you said.
You know what's
So,
crazy? I think KB doesn't like pancakes either. So like this is
I
like
love
a whole
pancakes.
conspiracy theory.
No, you're
I
talking
feel
about
like
waffles.
you're-
I like waffles. I do like waffles and pancakes.
You
I
like
love,
waffles more than pancakes, don't you? Yeah, see, I caught him.
but that doesn't mean I hate pancakes.
I caught him.
But that
No, I never
doesn't
said
mean I
that.
hate
I never said that.
pancakes.
I'm just saying you're a guy that likes waffles more. That's why every time I'm talking about pancakes, you're talking about waffles.
Come on, man. I like
The
waffles.
conspiracy is there. Open your third eye.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about French toast though.
All right. Shout out to Rob Pratt. Thank you for the $5.
Yeah, you
super
ever ate some
chat.
crepes? Crepes are pretty good.
Crepes are pretty
They're
nice.
like
If you guys like this, it was a wacky episode. Please do tune in
It
and share
was.
it out and get more people to tune in, man. We've
Yeah,
been doing this for years.
Yeah, we do, you guys. We always enjoy the OGs out there. Bookend, Marjorie. We had a couple of Yvettes. So we had a couple
Vets was up
OGs
there,
in
man.
here.
Nate was in here.
Rob Pred, thank you so much for the super chat. Final super chat. He says, "Good show, guys. I appreciate that. We try our best for you guys every single week. You know, through wins and losses. You know, we've been doing this show since last year, and we were terrible last year. We were still coming
Since
out here.
last year, we've been doing this show since like 2019. Ain't no way you shortchanging how long we've been doing it now. This dude, bro.
It's over 100 episodes, guys. Over 100 episodes. That is 2 years, bro. That
Yeah.
is 2 freaking years. Time flies when you're having fun. So, all right, guys. Thank you,
It's like
Alex. Thank you
3
so
years.
much. We love you. We love you.
It's like 3 years.
over
He
2
keeps
years.
shortchanging us, man.
What do you mean? It's over 2 years, not 3 years. It's over 2 years. 52
We
weeks in a year.
started at the end of
52 weeks in a year, Kush.
we started at the end of the summer of
Our
2019
third year,
because
but not 3 years.
because no, but let me finish because you know I remember when we started because it was at the end of my first summer on YouTube. That was the end of summer 2019.
Mhm.
End of summer of 2019 to end of summer of 2022 is 3 years directly, so it's over 3 years.
Yeah, but we didn't start the show in 2019. We started the show in 2020.
We did though. Go back in my
we did
playlist.
not.
Go back in my playlist.
The Young Guns podcast was in
Go back in my
2019.
playlist. Go back in my
No
playlist.
freaking way.
I'm telling y'all, I need a new co-host. Let's end the show, man. Let's end the show.
Breakfast. Yo, we gotta do a show
that
like
could be
that.
a show. That could be
Yo,
a
we
show. I'm
got-
just saying.
yo,
That could
we
be a
just
show,
sit
bro.
down,
I don't
eat,
know.
and just talk. Bro, we could do a we could talk about movies and shows. We're freaking nerds when it comes to comic book stuff. So, yo, we should do that.
You know what? Maybe
Yo,
we should.
Marjorie,
You just said something, Marjorie. You might have given
that was a
something
Marge
there.
bomb for real. Breakfast with KB. Oh hell yeah, with KB and Hope. Let's go. All right, guys, that's it. It was wacky towards the end, as it always is in these shows. We like to have fun here on the Young Guns podcast. So, be sure to tune in next week. Obviously, there's no stream on Sunday because I'll actually be chilling with a couple of my boys for the Tampa game.
Yeah.
And watch them lose. So, and then we'll be back on next week for the Young Guns podcast, preparing for the Houston Texans. So, DB from EP.8 Live says Young Mukbang podcast. Oh God. All right, guys, we out of here later.